Welcome to sleepingdog.video. Today I wanted to talk about my thoughts on the Elegoo Centari Carbon Core XY 3D printer and a short unboxing of the filament that just arrived from Sunlu. So I wanted to start with the talking about the Elegoo Centari Carbon 3D printer. I bought one. Go to Uncle Jesse's YouTube channel and look for his live stream with Elegoo representative and talking about the launch, and then he'll tell you what the price is. I'll give you a heads up on what the price. First, I want to say this is basically, it looks like a X1 Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon clone with metal sides and similar 256 by 256 build platform, etc., etc. I'll talk about other stuff in a minute, but the price was a whopping $299.99, so $300 for this printer. It's a Core XY printer, supposed to print up to 500 millimeters per second. Core XY printer for only $300 US. And my eyes are getting wide, if you can see, and I'm saying like, wow. That's why I bought it. I might not get mine until anywhere from April through June as they ramp up their delivery or their manufacturing so they can get more out. I heard on Uncle Jesse's site that one person bought 12 units. I only have the X1 Carbon and my bed slinger printer to compare it to. So, and I don't have one yet. I'm not a reviewer, so I don't have one yet to have a physical unit. I can only talk about what I've watched online and read about. There are certain things I would like other reviewers to cover, and they never do. So when I say I cover stuff that other people don't cover that I think are important, at least they're important to me. One thing is that does it have, I know this is a little bit technical for a newbie, but does it have LiDAR scanning? How well is it? Do I have to tinker with and this is like the bed of the printer, do I have to tinker with the nozzle height of the bed? My Bamboo Labs, it has everything set up, so all I do is send the print to the printer, and then I sit back and let it print. I don't have to worry about whether the nozzle is the right height to the bed, if I'm going to get a good first layer. It's just going to do everything for me. And that's what I want these days. I've done years and years of tinkering. I don't want to do that anymore. I just want it to do it for me. But no one where I have seen, if someone knows of a site, I'll watch that video. But I've watched many, many videos on it, on this printer and other printers like the Prusa and the is a K1 by Creality videos, and they're good, but they don't cover this point. And this is a key point for me. The print quality is supposed to be really good. That's great to know that. But how does that help me on whether it's going to be a trouble-free, send your print to the printer and just print type printer? Nobody has really described that point. So I would like to I'd like to ask someone or talk about something, or if Elegoo talks about it, or if someone else, other channel is watching this and can talk about it that has one already. can tell me those points, like how much do I have to do a paper method nozzle height adjustment on the printer, or is that going to do it all for me out of the box? Now that's truly out of the box printing. You talk about out of the box printing, like sending your print and printing, but if you have to do a paper method and you have to fiddle with this setting and that setting to get it to be level and then check it every time you run a print, that's not out of the box 3D printing in my book. So that's what I want to know, and some of those things just are not talked about. But it does have, I guess it has solid. They make one that's the carbon, and then the Centari Carbon, or the Centari without the carbon name, and then the Centari Carbon printer. And one of them doesn't have the sides. For about $100, $120, I would get the one with the sides on it. I think the one without the sides is something incredible, $179 or $200 without the sides. But why you should spend the extra $100, $120, $140 to get the sides? So then, because the hot end can print up to like 300 or 320 degrees C, and it's supposed to be able to print at 500 degrees C, and I kind of shake my hand like this, like, yeah, right. In a pristine print that's printing nothing but long strips of print, maybe you can get up to 500, but anything that has curves or any delicate parts to your print, it's never going to get up that high. I would like to know another thing is, what's the real world print times on printing real parts that you're going to be printing every day? Whether they're flat pieces like I'm printing, like this hinge, or delicate pieces, what's the average print time? What does the slicer say, the fastest to the slowest speed within that part, and what's the average of the speed? So is it really, so we can really compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges if you want to compare it to the X1 carbon. And you got to compare it to how well it does a first layer and how hassle-free does it print the first layer. Do you, again, I'm going to reiterate, do you have to watch the first layer? Do you have to set it up? Do you have to do any nozzle adjustment, or does the printer do it for you? The X1 carbon, the printer does it for me. I don't have to do any of that. So spending an extra $600 for the X1 carbon might seem expensive, but when you don't have to fiddle with those things, it's just so, it takes a load off you. You get to go about your business. You can wash a few dishes if you work from home. You can go on to your next print. You can answer a few emails. You can just let it go, and it'll tell you everything that's wrong with it. It'll come up with dialog boxes that'll explain what's wrong when it fails. It'll pause the print, and I'm debating on whether it pauses the print all the time, like on my spaghetti printing. I don't even know if this printer will detect spaghetti prints or not. It'll detect if the filament runs out. But if it detects spaghetti prints, I'm not even sure whether it does that or not. So I wish somebody would go through and say, talk about those aspects. And those would be very interesting in me, since I have to wait unless Elegoo wants to send me a test unit. I'll talk about those things with you guys if Elegoo wants to send me a pre-production printer so I can try out while my paid printer comes. So if they want to do that, I'll put it through its paces, I'll compare it to the X1C on those aspects, and I'll tell you if it has LiDAR, if it has this and it has that, and whether I have to do any adjustment, and what I like and dislike between the X1 Carbon and the Elegoo unit. Take into account, I do have to take into account, and you should too, it's $299 right now. I don't know if it's going to go up after a promotional period or not, or whether it's going to remain at $299. Nobody knows. But at $299, if it's 70% the quality and the ease of use, and quality is one thing, like how well it prints the physical part, that's one thing. But the ease of use and the ease of sending it out to the printer over Wi-Fi, stepping away from your printer, going over like I did this week to my brother's house to take care of my dog, and watching it in my Bamboo Studio app, but the one for the iPad, watching it and monitoring it from my brother's house, 20 minutes walking distance away from me, and being able to do that reliably is much more than just print quality. Yes, in sport mode, this is either PLA or PETG, but I printed another one, and I'd have to see what where I put it. But I just printed one recently, and I'll do that in the second half when I'm doing the unboxing for the my Sunlu PETG, standard PETG, not the high speed one. But the standard PETG, I'll get out the print I just printed with the white filament, and you'll see just how, wow, gorgeous that printed. And that was at about 127, 128% speed in sport mode on the X1 Carbon. So that's my view. If you want to pick up a Bamboo Labs, if it's your first printer, and just know that you might not get it until the June time frame. If you get it earlier, that's terrific. I'll be all glad. If I get it in March or April, I'll be very happy with that. But I'm sure they're either backlogged or going to be sold out or going to be rushing to get it out the door. They're doing updates as we speak too on their printer. So over time, I'm hoping that they remain doing updates, and like Bamboo, they get some of the kinks worked out, whatever those kinks are, worked out, and get it to run smoother. A lot of these things are software improvements that they can get this printer to run much, much better than even it'll run out of the box when we get them, because this is the first version of it. So that's what I have to say on that printer, and I bought one, as I said, and I will be happy when it comes in, but it's my second printer. So they say it's a 256, but the bed size, they say it's 260, where the X1 Carbon, the bed size sheet, is 256. So I only get 149 by 149 by 149, or 162 on diagonal. This one, you're supposed to get 156 by 156 by 156 actual print volume, and then probably 170 or so on the diagonal volume. So, so a little bit bigger print volume. Hi, this is the next day. I was printing a full build sheet of it's the spool winder that was featured on the Adam Savage from Mythbusters, his now YouTube channel. So he did that one, so I decided to download that one. I printed one before, but then I couldn't quite figure out how to put it together and get it to work right. So I decided to try his that he did on his channel. And it's not his design or anything. So the point is that I printed it out, but the thing is that what is great about Bamboo Labs printer is that I can skip one individual part. And that's very important to me, so I don't have to give up and start the whole build sheet all over again and waste all that filament and parts when only one small little part failed. I got another spaghetti print because I was trying to print the standard Sunlu Petg white filament and see if it would do successful prints at ludicrous mode on my X1 Carbon. So I surmise, I can't quite see the back of the build plate with the camera, but I surmise that the part at the back of the build plate, which was kind of a delicate part, was the one that failed. So I went in, and once I figured out which one that was, I canceled that part, and I'm continuing to print the rest of the parts. So that's a really, really nice feature. So I hope the Centari Carbon with the Orca Slicer has that feature as well. And those are the features that, again, I keep saying it's not all about speed and it's not all about print quality. It's those features that are very important. It's whether you can cancel prints and things like that. So that's what I wanted to comment on. Also, I've been doing some more research using Gemini to ask a lot of questions. And Gemini was saying that the Centari Carbon does not have spaghetti detection like the Bamboo Labs. Now, if that's true, it wouldn't notify me like the Bamboo Labs notified me and paused the print. This time, one of my other prints, it didn't pause, but gave me spaghetti detection notice 3 times during one print or one build plate print. So, but never paused the extruder. This time it paused the extruder and gave me a notification. So that's good, but I don't know how then the Centari Carbon's gonna deal with that. So also, one, whether it's gonna pause the print, and probably not if it doesn't have spaghetti detection, but 2, whether if I pause it manually, whether it'll let me cancel that particular object off the build plate, which is at least what I need. So I don't, again, and I'll say it for like a 3rd time, I don't waste the rest of the parts on the build platform when only one small little part seems to fail. And that's what's happened a couple of times, to where even from the beginning when I got my X1C, only the little fragile parts seem to fail and get spaghetti, but the bigger parts seem to held to the build platform, were sturdy enough to print all the way through. So I printed like 95% of the build plate and only had to cancel like one small print. So that's kind of important to me. Now to the unboxing of the Sunlu standard Petg filament. Before I do the actual unboxing, I am going to show off. This is that I did an unboxing already, is the white Sunlu Petg filament. I dried it in my one of my filament dryers for 5 hours. I have like 4 filament dryers plus a dehydrator unit. And I wanted to show just how beautiful, beautiful. One, it came out, so I printed this in sport mode, as I do pretty much all my prints on my X1 Carbon. And I print this at 2.4 millimeter layer height. And I find the dimensional accuracy is within 0.3 to 0.4 millimeters. And it comes out the best for speed versus accuracy with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. So with that said, I just want to show you how beautiful, you see how shiny, shiny, beautiful the print is. Yes, there might be some slight ringing. Also, you might be seeing some of the infill, because this is a thin panel within the outer panel. So I just wanted to show that, how shiny, because I had other filament which was PLA and some PETG, but it didn't come out this incredibly shiny. Like, I'm gonna move it around so maybe it'll catch the light, so you can see how occasionally it'll catch the light just right, and it is just so shiny. See that? How it's just so super right there. You see how it really catches the light? Really shows off just how incredibly shiny the filament is. So I'm very happy. I might try printing in ludicrous mode, 1.66% higher setting, to see if it would do it. This isn't the high-speed filament, so if it fails or doesn't print very well, it's not supposed to. So that's just what I wanted to show, which I really love the Sunlu, just how incredible the sheen is to this in sport mode. As the speed goes up, the filament, it's supposed to knock down the sheen. So at standard print speed, the sheen should be high, and then higher speeds, then it should turn into a matte finish. But this, that's why I'm thinking maybe this, and it's also printed at 255 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way up. So maybe with the, maybe this could do ludicrous mode, I'm not sure. If it does, then you could get away with cheaper filament. So now I'm going to do the unboxing. Okay, now this is the unboxing, and I have scissors, so I was looking around for my scissors. It's easier than using my box cutter on this type. It did come, just like the other filament, it did come with just wrapped in whatever shipping wrap that they use. And I think it was maybe USPS. I got this on Temu.com, Temu.com, the Chinese site. And I hope that the only thing I'm going to say about Trump, I hope he doesn't block, so I can keep using Temu. Of the Chinese sites, I like Temu. Usually I'll buy things off Amazon, but if I want to get a better price on something, I'll go to Temu. Temu usually ships, I get things in 1 to 2 weeks, opposed to the other sites that take 3+ weeks. So I'm just going to probably undo one of these, maybe 2 of these, and I'm going to just show you, this is how it comes in boxes like this. And it is uniform diameter tolerance to 0.02 millimeters. And then it, and on the back, And it is, let me open this up and use my, where did I set my trusty box cutter? And then you can see this is definitely the clear filament. And I thought clear filament was great. I could use it for prototyping, or I can also use it if I make something. You can put maybe cool rope or strip lighting around it, and then shine through, so you can make things like that. So that may be kind of cool to use. That's what I want to do on a few projects. So I'm going to just have you watch unboxing one more of these, and then all the other ones are going to be the same. So I won't have you sit through the rest of it. So here's another one. I will probably do the same with this. See, it's a little bit damaged, the shipping, because it doesn't come in a bigger box. It just comes packaged, so it doesn't have a bigger box to protect it, which I guess for filament's okay. And these are also the reusable spools. And yes, I tried, because I ran out of filament on one of my, on the HS version of this PETG. So I ran out of filament. So then I was able to try the spool, and yes, what somebody else said, this spool is too small, so it won't fit the reusable Bamboo Labs filament spool, so you can't use that. So you've got to find other filament to use with the spools, and I wish that they all would have standardized on a certain size. I just wanted to make one comment, so I'm hand holding my iPhone, is that with the PETG white Sunlu filament, I did get one roll. I put them on 3 rolls in my different filament dryers. Then after 5 hours, and then I was loading it into my AMS unit on my X1 Carbon, one roll kind of stuck to itself. So then it fed a little bit in to the maybe 20, 30 millimeters into the tubes of the X1 AMS unit, and then it broke off. So then I had to clear it out of the tubes. Luckily, it didn't clog the nozzle or anything. I just had to take the tubes out and then get the filament out, and that was pretty easy once you do it once. So I wanted to say that's my only issue at the moment with the regular PETG Sunlu filament, was that I had one roll that I surmise maybe is either was wound too tight or somehow melted a little bit, but I don't think so, or was somehow sticky, but I'm thinking it was just wound too tight, and therefore I need to, whenever I get a working filament roller system printed out from Printables or Maker World, that I can print that out and then re-spool it, because I have one spool that I finished of high speed, and that spool I can re-spool on for maybe to save this roll of filament. For sleepingdog.video, this is John. Happy printing.